There's one question I've heard asked time and time again concerning the Quiet Place movie, and it's why don't the monsters eat the humans, or eat anything they kill for that matter? We've seen corpses, evidence of the people that they have killed, like in the first movie with the farmer's wife. They took away the little boy, at least the first one did in the beginning of the movie, but based on what we've seen with how they kill others, they just tear them apart and make sure they're dead, or at least make sure they're not any longer making noise. We also got confirmation that the Quiet Place monsters don't eat anything they kill because the main character, the father in the story, Lee Abbott, in his note said that the monsters don't eat people that they kill. So now that we have confirmation of that, we know that, what is the reason why the Quiet Place monsters don't eat what they kill? They kill humans. I mean, they've gotten rid of so many humans on the face of the earth, and also animals. We've seen evidence of a Quiet Place monster smashing a poor raccoon that didn't get the memo that they're supposed to be quiet. The thing just smears the raccoon on the ground and goes about his business. They clearly have mouths, these creatures, so why don't they use them? And if they're not eating animals or whatever they kill that makes noise, what are they eating? Now, here's some theories that we have as to why the Quiet Place monsters don't eat. Just because we don't see them eat humans doesn't mean they don't eat at all. For all we know, they probably don't even have the digestive system that is able to handle eating flesh. I know it sounds weird. Okay, let's go into the theories. One of the possible reasons as to why these creatures don't eat is because they were ordered not to. There's some theories that we've talked about on other videos on this channel about these monsters either being avatars or pets sent ahead as biological weapons to wipe out all life on Earth, or at least the main civilization residents, humans. Or maybe just everything that makes noise, because we see them killing raccoons and other animals that are not humans as well. If they were ordered not to eat, it's either they have their own supply of food, they either make their own food, or they eat something that has nothing to do with flesh. Chances are these alien creatures would probably get sick if they were to eat something of a completely different biology. Think of it this way, if you ended up on another planet, let's just say you had the technology to go some other galaxy or you got teleported there and you saw the alien life forms there, would you say to yourself, you know what, that looks delicious, I'm gonna dig into that squid looking thing with balloons as eyes and acid spraying out of its belly button that's pulsating with this red purplish stuff? You have no idea what poisons exist inside these creatures, or maybe their whole operating system within their body could make you totally sick or have some really bad reaction. Maybe the Quiet Place monsters are smart enough to know not to eat humans or not to eat anything from Earth because they can die. Their teeth are sharp, which tells us that they are predatory creatures. It's possible that they eat some other type of material, but I don't think it's going to be rocks, as their teeth don't look like they're formatted to eat or grind rocks. Those teeth were designed for tearing, and tearing something fleshy. They have piranha-like teeth, which suggests to me, based on other animals that exist on our Earth today that have the same teeth pattern, that they literally tear off flesh and swallow it. There's no chewing whatsoever involved. And since the Quiet Place monsters don't have molars, that tells us that's possibly what they do as well with whatever it is they eat from their planet. Another reason they don't eat is probably because the adrenaline, or whatever their version of adrenaline is running so rampant in their body that they're in survival mode. The last thing they're thinking about is eating stuff that's a threat to them, that they can't even tell what it is. The other possibility, which would explain why they have teeth, is that they act solely as a defense mechanism. For all we know, these creatures' ancestors used to eat, and now the Quiet Place monsters don't need to, so I guess their teeth are sort of like a vestigial product. I highly doubt that, but it's just a theory. Another theory, as I mentioned before, is that these creatures could be avatars. They could be machines or biomachines that are remote controlled by their owners, wherever those owners are. Honestly, this wouldn't surprise me. We probably will never get an answer to this, but if they were avatars, it would make more sense why certain frequencies would hurt their ears. Maybe it's a frequency they're not used to hearing from where they came from. But it could also be a possibility that since these creatures are being controlled in this theory, that specific frequency would interrupt the connection. This would cause the connection with the avatar to even short out. It's kind of like when you hit a dead spot with your cell phone, or your Bluetooth cuts out whenever you're too far away from your device. These creatures being avatars could be one explanation as to why they don't really need to eat, because they're not really real. I mean, they are, but they're not. They're just fleshy things that their remote controllers use in order to hear through their ears. I can't say see through their eyes because they can't see. But let's go back to the supposition that these creatures are real, they're not avatars. They might not need to eat for long periods of time. Where we have to eat every week, I think humans can survive 3 weeks to 21 days without food, possibly even longer, possibly months. As long as you have water, you can survive without without food, maybe these creatures having a completely different biological makeup, coming from someplace totally different, don't need to eat as often as we do. It's not that far-fetched when you consider that we have creatures called tardigrades, or space bears, that are able to survive up to 30 years without food or water. And just like the Quiet Place monsters, they are surprisingly hard to kill and can endure very extreme conditions, such as the frozen vacuum of space and extreme temperatures of up to 150 degrees Celsius, or 302 degrees Fahrenheit. It is said that some crocodilians can live without food for up to 2 years. Creatures like the lungfish have been recorded to go more than 4 years without food. These creatures do have evolutionary adaptations to be able to slow down their metabolism so that they can keep all of their reserves. Whenever they do eat, they eat a lot and they eat it in one sitting. But even for us, you'd think that that's not enough. Eating a whole antelope is not going to be enough to sustain you for 7 to 30 years. But if we have creatures on Earth that can perform feats like this biologically, then what's to say a creature that is essentially the perfect killing machine that the entirety of our military apparently can't take down can't do the same or much more? I'm sure arriving to a completely different planet, a new place they've never seen before, and coming into contact with prey they've never seen before, animals they don't recognize, they wouldn't mind not going without food for a while. I'm sure even you as a human would probably feel the same way if you had that ability and that evolutionary adaptation or advantage, that if you went to a completely different planet, dimension, whatever, you were teleported there and you saw some strange purple looking jellyfish on land with acidic juices spraying from out of what you think is a belly button from out the top of its head, you'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna skip that and I'll wait for a while. Furthermore, that would give you the opportunity, since you don't really have to readily worry about food, to concentrate your efforts elsewhere, such as building shelter or making sure that the environment that you're in is safe. Maybe to the Quiet Place monsters, we don't smell like things that are edible. You ever look at dog shit on the sidewalk and go, shit, I'd like to break me off a piece of that. They should be selling that on the Popeyes menu. If you do feel that way, you have a condition. If you're like everybody else who probably doesn't feel that way, you'd be like, no, bro. But flies are like, damn, that smells freaking good. Drop that deuce. I cannot wait to lick my lips all up on that excrement. I just want to fill it inside of my lungs and my ass. Like, I'm pretty sure flies have that conversation. To the Quiet Place dudes, they're probably like, dude, what are these walking, talking towers of shit? In their world, that must be what waste smells like. So I can imagine why they freak out when they could smell waste walking around and making noise. I'd be hella scared too if what amounts to biological waste is just walking around and making noises it's not supposed to be making by itself. So what do you think is the most likely theory as to why these monsters don't eat? I think it's a combination of, if they're intelligent enough, they probably don't want to eat something that they don't know what it is. They can't identify it readily as food. They can go a long period without food, like a very long period, maybe even years. You have to also consider that we have 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Wherever they came from or whatever planet they lived on, their day and night cycles are probably not the same. Chances are they probably have 36-hour days, or maybe they have days that last for years and nights that last for centuries for all we know. Understandably, they're going to evolve to have different genetic makeups and adaptations than we do on Earth. What is clear is that the director was even asking this question, or at least wants us to ask this question, as to why they don't eat their kill. What do you think is the most likely theory, or do you have a separate one that was mentioned in this video? Let us know in the comments, and thanks so much for watching. This has been Altiori. You ask, we answer.